What's good with the people? I am Damo, the political plug. This is the Chop Up Show. I'm here with my dog, Toya G, on a very interesting, action-packed, news-worthy Thursday. Aaron Rodgers, Jets, beat the Patriots.
Yeah. We ain't gonna give too much love to these AFC people, man. But good job.
Tragic news out of Kentucky. A sheriff just shot a judge in Kentucky.
True.
It's wild out here in these streets.
In the judge's chambers, by the way. Went to the courthouse chambers, went to where the judge is at, shot him dead. It's a crazy world.
Shout out to Emmanuel. Shout out to Dina. We appreciate y'all pulling up.
What's good?
Toya, where your head at with all this going on?
You were to really know where my head is with everything going on?
Yeah.
Honestly, there's so many more stories. I know y'all saw the thumbnail. So what's going on in my head is freaky ass nigga, you a 69 guy. Freaky ass, you a 69 guy. Hey, run for your life. Hey, like that's all I got. It's on loose.
Yeah, that seems to be where we at. Emmanuel, but yeah, that's why I wear it. I wear this to kind of be slick. You feel me? I don't wear this hat out though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I don't want to have to go through hell no, I don't wear that now. In Texas, I wore it out in Texas. We went to breakfast. Okay. We went to breakfast at the hotel there downstairs, and I wore it downstairs as I walked around. And just the looks that I got. This does not say "Make America Great Again," but just because it looked like one of them hats, the looks that I got was wild. But that's neither here nor there.
They're looking like Mark Robinson, but not at all. Just kidding.
No,
just saying, that's a hat he would wear.
right. That speaking of,
but maybe not anymore, because that support, that relationship is deteriorating before our very eyes. I don't mean to cut you off though. It's just
no.
The whole thing is crazy.
No. But I think that's a perfect transition into the conversation that we're trying to have today. Freaky ass niggas in the news. Shout out to Kendrick. But it's freaky ass niggas in the news, and it's actually involved in big things. Are we 2 minutes in? You know, we gotta wait till we a certain amount of in before we can start cussing.
I think I messed it up already. I said the N word, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how it goes. Right.
Yeah.
But so it's these freaky ass niggas involved in these major things, right? And we're gonna start out talking about freaky ass nigga number one, that is Lieutenant Governor of the state of North Carolina, Mark Robinson.
Yeah.
If y'all been paying attention to any news today, Mark Robinson has been the nigga in the news today. For what reason, you may ask. Now, just to give y'all background, Mark Robinson has been in the news repeatedly for saying wild shit during he's running for governor right now.
Yes. North Carolina, he's currently the lieutenant governor of North Carolina, running for the governorship here in November.
Right. Mark Robinson has made wild statements about the LGBTQ community. He's literally came out and said certain people just need to be killed. Which was met with an applause. But he said wild shit like that. He's been in favor of rolling back civil rights.
He called himself a black Nazi, which I think is, as we talk about how crazy all this other sexual stuff is and how he a freaky ass nigga, he's a 69 guy. We also have to talk about what really should be more disturbing. And I think based on some of how we talk about some things, we're gonna have to make some decisions about what really moves us. And I think one of the things that have to move us in relationship to this discussion is the fact that he understands himself as, literally an oxymoron, right? Literally two things that don't go together, that are
don't make sense at all.
Contradictory, directly contradictory to each other. So those are the deep investments where he's willing to defy logic in order to undermine the literal existence of black people.
Now, the reason why Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is being called a freaky ass nigga is because he didn't recently got exposed by being very vocal on many different porn sites with very graphic depictions of what one would consider his exploits, right? Now, mind you, this is information that's coming on the backdrop of 2 weeks ago. It came out that he was a frequent visitor of a porn site near his, or not a porn site, but a porn, like an actual indoor porn place, like the smut
like
shops.
a porn gallery, like yeah.
Like the adult shops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He used to go and he frequented the demo booths, right? So this information come out, and then I'm not even really thinking nothing of it. I'm looking at it like, he was on some freaky shit. It'd be like that, whatever. I don't think that's gonna make a difference. Then 2 weeks later, now all of this shit dropped. And I want y'all to be the detectives. We want to be detectives together and figure out whether or not this is something.
Do we have any pictures of Mark Robinson? Like, I think, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of important that we understand the man behind the controversy, behind the scandal. So I do want to see if there are any pics, anything we can pull up. If not, I kind of see when he's sitting up there at the top. We want to be clear about who he is, and the reason why is that the boldness and the brashness by which he has existed on these online platforms is wild. Like, same screen names being used on LinkedIn accounts and on this over here and that over here, but also Amazon accounts where he was on there talking about and reviewing men's Spanx, men's firmware, fitwear, which I'm not trying to shame, but it's just very interesting that that's a purchase you would make. Yeah. Which is typically for bodies who are trying to smooth out those curves, more feminine bodies, and really kind of hide their fat. So there's some insecurities. There's some irony there in terms of, men wearing women's attire and clothes. It's just I got questions about your slimwear and that. But then also use the same username on Nude Africa, which was the site that he was found on where all these comments came from. I cut you off, though, Plug. I apologize for that. I just really I wanted to put a face to a name, if you will.
Right. Now Mark Robinson was exposed mostly by CNN. CNN reached out to him for comment. He actually did an interview on CNN where he denied all of these accusations. He argued that it had something to do with people spending money, spending millions of dollars on AI. But let's take a look at the argument as we dig more into the conversation. The argument of this is actually him on these internet websites saying all this wild shit. Now, according to CNN, screenshots show Robinson used Mini Soldier. That's what it looked like that says, right? All over
Mini Soldier is what it looks like. And Emmanuel, you wild for saying it's okay. Hey, Emmanuel said it's okay. Any man who wears Spanx should be shamed. I didn't say it. Emmanuel said it. Got nothing to do with that. And shout out to Donnell if we didn't see you when you popped in, family. Good evening. But wild times. Carry on. All
right. Screenshot show Robinson used Mini Soldier all over the internet. We see Facebook posts, Mark Robinson, Mini Soldier. Pinterest, Mark Robinson, Mini Soldier. YouTube, Mini Soldier with him. Discus, Black Planet, all of these have this screen name associated with his picture and his actual name, Mark Robinson, right? Yeah. Now, the website that he was frequented the most, where he said most of this vile, disgusting acts that he was pulling off.
I'm gonna read it to y'all, but I'm gonna try to edit it because y'all gotta at least know some of the context of these messages. I don't know if we can put them I don't know what we
can't. No, we're not putting that on the screen. We can't put that on the screen.
Yeah, but I'm gonna try to read it to you. I don't know what I'm gonna do because if my mama ever watches this, man, but it's wicked.
So the website that he used the most was this website called Nude Africa, right? Where this is where, for the most part, he would tell stories about him looking at women when he was 14 years old, like on some peeping Tom shit, right? CNN didn't publish none of these stories, or none of the details of these stories, but Twitter, Twitter wild like that. And one of the things that CNN found was that they found was interesting about Mr. Robinson and his affinity towards in terms of these type of post, the type of corn, we'll call it, that he was interested in to keep this PG. And from the posts that are associated with this username from this man, he's saying things like he actually likes transgender on girl porn because, as he says here, it takes the man out while leaving the man in. This is the conservative lieutenant governor of North Carolina.
Yes, it is.
Now, to be fair, he also considers himself a perv too, by the way. He considers himself a pervert.
He self-identifies as a pervert.
Self-identifies as a pervert. Now, in an interview with CNN on Thursday, Robinson repeatedly denied that he made the comments on Nude Africa. He said, "This is not us, these are not our words, and this is not anything that is characteristic of me." Robinson said when presented with the litany of evidence connecting him with the Mini Soldier username on Nude Africa, Robin said, "I'm not going to get into the minutia of how somebody manufactured these salacious tabloid lies." So he's denying it, right? But the proof that CNN is running with has more to do with how this man was extremely sloppy with how he moved on the internet. Now, we've already shown y'all all of the Mini Soldier usernames, right? And how it was associated with his name, Mark Robinson. CNN also connected biographical data that shared the Mini Soldier online names and then lined it up with his own details. Many soldiers from Greensboro. On Adult Friend Finder, Mark Robinson is from Greensboro, North Carolina. And then on his Twitter, he's from Greensboro, North Carolina. Wow. He's 56. On Adult Friend Finder, Many Soldiers 56. On Twitter, you can see his birthday. He's 56 years old. On the website, on the porn website, Nude Africa, he said he was married for the corn website. My fault. Corn website. He said that he was married 21 years. On Facebook, you can see that he's been married. He was married from at the time that he posted that for 21 years. All right. So, and then again, they have more examples of language that Mini Soldier used, that Robinson used. For example, I've never heard nobody say frogs fat ass. So for me, but not only did Mini Soldier on Nude Africa use the term frogs fat ass multiple times, we see Mark Robinson using that language multiple times on Facebook. So it's all of these examples of him literally lining up everything about him, matching everything with this Mini Soldier nigga, from names being connected on YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, everywhere else, because he an older nigga. Like he don't know the internet like that. So he been moving real sloppy and real lazy.
You'll never know it's me looking at us.
Right. Now, before we get into what makes this conversation unique, Toya, I do want you to attempt in some way to read one of the posts that came from Mini Soldier.
All right, we ain't gonna put it up on the screen like I said, but this post was made on Saturday, April 19th, 2008 at 2:50 in the morning. That's what this man was on here talking about. He said, I'm gonna read the context of the tweet too, because I think it's important. The tweet from Chris Evans, who is not Captain America on Twitter, very great handle. That is great handle and also a great account to follow, in my personal opinion. He says, Mark Robinson told his church there's no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling any child about transgenderism, homosexuality, or any of that filth. He has also criticized marriage equality and implied that LGBTQ plus rights be led to the normal or could lead to the normalization of pedophilia. But here he is admitting to threesomes with his wife and his sister. He said specifically this post on the dates and the times that I identified. Fellas, let your girl think she's in control and you can do what you want. I've been married 18 years and have been effing whoever I want when I want, including my wife's fine ass sister who does threesomes with me and another girl we know. We love that ass to mouth thing. I should have kind of not said that part. And there is nothing like having your B words sucked and your AH licked while deep in some P word. He also made a post.
Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson.
Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. He continued in a different post. This was on September 4th, 2011. So this was going on for years. That was from 2008. This post says, I'm back. And I'm not going to be able to make it through this, but I'm going to try as far as I can. We took a break for a little bit, but picked back up where we left off. I hooked up with my wife's sister, and boy, was it good. I'm talking about there are 5 O's here, 6. That P word is still C word, and that A word is still, and I'm going to stop here, slick, shiny, and PISSY smelling. I said I was going to stop here, but I got to keep going to this part, and you'll see why in a second. I effed her good, and after my D word was coded with her C word, we 69. So again, freaky ass nigga. You a 69 guy.
Bro, this is the lieutenant governor. This is the nigga that was handpicked by Donald Trump. Handpicked.
I watched a 2-minute video where literally Donald Trump had been on the campaign trail shouting out Mark Robinson. Mark Robinson, he's great. He's up and coming. He's amazing. He's phenomenal.
This nigga said he Dr. King times 2.
He did on steroids. On steroids is what he said.
Look, Emmanuel Briggs said, oh, he a wild boy. He a wild boy for real, for real. Danielle C said, nah, he's out of line. Yes, bro, this is wild.
Literally nasty work. This is literally nasty work that he's on. So I'm happy that you ain't here to help us manage this. Marcel was popping. You walked in at a great time. Hit that thumb, y'all. Hit that thumb. Hit that thumb.
Please do. Please do. Please do. So here we are in the midst of what people keep calling one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime. And these are the type of motherfuckers we got to deal with. But I want to be fair, though. I want to be fair.
Yeah.
So before I just start making assumptions about how everybody else sees or understands how the lives of politicians should be treated, I guess you have to ask the question, are politicians allowed to be human? Are they allowed to be people? Are they allowed to have kinks? Are they allowed to be freaky ass niggas? You know what I'm saying? Like, because we're gonna get into our opinions, but I think that before we get into our opinions, we should at least create a framework of understanding. Like, how should we see these people? Because in a lot of ways, this is probably something I'm sure he didn't want to become public. I'm sure this is something that, not even I'm sure, like, he's lying about it. He definitely didn't want this to become public. You know what I mean? Like, what you do when you off on whatever by yourself, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you're a public figure, you don't want the world to know about these things. So is it something that we should actually even give weight to, because this is personal? You know what I mean? And like, even though he's a politician, how he moved personally, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the example that I used was even when it comes to women, men say, like, or I said men that I remember this saying being said was, I want a lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheets. Right. So, that other side of yourself, should that matter when we think about elections, when we think about casting ballots? Can politicians be people like that? What y'all think in the chat?
Yeah, definitely tell us in the chat how you feel about it. Here's my take. I feel like the answer, I'm because of how I believe and understand sexuality and intimacies and kinks and all that type of shit. My standard is consent, right? My standard is that everybody who's participating in it is consensual. I even think that there is an argument to be made, even though you kind of surrender that as a public servant, like the cloak of anonymity, or being able to say, I deserve to be able to be anonymous. Kind of not, my nigga, because like you kind of surrender that. But I can understand an argument for that. Here's where it loses me as a politician. When you do shit like this and then you directly campaign against people who do the same thing, right? You up here yucking people's yums, and that yum you yucking is what you go, delicious to. Like, that is crazy to me. And so I think that is the line. Like, I'm not so troubled. I don't think people in a world where people are adults and grown, you do have to be cleaner with your shit. Like, I do think, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to say that you shouldn't be able to do what you want to do, how you want to do it. Cause like, we are multifaceted people. Like, I like policy making, I like political agendas, and I like a little something, according to him, creamy on the side. And that is disgusting. It made my throat curl up just a little bit even saying that. So I'm sorry to everybody who had to hear it. But I don't know. Like, I'm hesitant to be like, because you do a certain thing, you do a certain job, you have to do a certain thing, but you do surrender a whole lot of your ability to do that without judgment and without people having something to say about that shit. And I think the thing that takes it way out of line and makes it unforgivable is the fact that it's some shit you directly, for your voting base and for your constituents, you said you don't believe.
You condemn.
That's why
I'm gonna keep it a stack, and this may be unfair as hell, but fuck it. No. You cannot be a freaky, and I mean, because to be honest, yeah, you got to, man, listen, because here's the thing. You ain't got to give it up. But when it come out, it matters. Yeah. It like, there's no other way around it. It matters. Like, because, the thing about it is, what we hope is that how we live our lives, and like, regardless of who we are, how we live our lives, in our private moments, stay private. That's what we hope. But at the same time,
that's everybody's hope.
Yeah, but at the same time, when a part of your job is talking about what people do in their private lives, you don't get to run behind that. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to stand on that. If your criticism is whether it be about what women do with their bodies, whether it be about homosexuality or anything else, what happens with that all happens in private. So if you can use people's intimate private situations as a way to condemn them, as a way to create, you know what I'm saying, like hysteria around a certain group of people, then when your life come out, especially as a public figure, as somebody who's in control of other people's lives, oh yes, my nigga. Yeah, hey, listen, you better be straight, missionary, kissing on the lips. Man, it better be the most. I mean, for real, because then.
Or just you just gotta be better at it. Like I don't know. Like I don't like you saying just, but I don't know, because I think I'm pivoting another direction. I'm not saying like it's dead.
It's
done.
But the thing about it is, because we are people, it's probably not done. You know what I'm saying? But if it comes out, that's your ass. Like that's just the reality of it.
I think that's the thing. I think you can do it, but you surrender the ability to like talk about it and reflect on it and put it places and record it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where people always mess up the money anyway and kind of play themselves, is we just live in a society where it's just like, we got to record it, whether it's a concert or a special event or a moment that we can never get back. It's always like, well, let me go get the phone real quick. Let me see. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's how people play themselves every time, is they feel like they have to have another, their memories are not enough. I can't remember what movie it was. I think it was, what was that movie that was about? You could like, what was the term where you can get a ticket if you married to go do what you want to do?
Hall pass.
Yeah. Where the dude was like taking pictures with his eyes. He was like,
it's fiction.
Like he was like trying to take mental pictures and mental notes to remember. That's what you have to do in these fucking situations. You don't get a chance to like have record and video and post about it and reflect on it or whatever. Like I read you a post when we were prepping for the show that was just like, he literally got online just to say, I just want to come here and say that my wife's sister has the best P word in the world, like all caps in the world. It's a
weirdo.
In post. Nigga, what is wrong with you? Like, how old are you? You can't control your, like, what is this? But it's literally a combination of that. And then here's the thing, you post it in a place where a lot of people can see it, because you've like the intoxication of getting likes and getting people to see it. Like, it's like that voyeurism, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they can't do it, you can't do it in public, but like you get a rush from talking about it in ways and in places where people can talk about it. So you are a sex addict. You can't even control yourself enough to have your inhibitions to release your inhibitions, rather. You to like just go and have your fun and do what you do, but you have to like display it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That is where it's just like really fucking weird.
I mean, definitely. But what makes it worse is when we look at like what's been happening over the past year or so. And like, for example, one thing that I paid attention to the most was like the Fonnie Willis shit. Like, and how they pretty much used this woman's relationship to try to say that, because they had a relationship, that this whole trial was drummed up and was fake and whatever, and was asking how many times they had sex and all this other shit. So, yeah, we not about to turn around and be like, well, is this type of info, should we be talking about this type of shit? Y'all made an actual state case out of a woman's personal relationship. This man is
nobody was married, nobody was cheating on nobody was doing anything out of line. People was paying for their own stuff, going halvesies, doing all types of shit, just trying to see if there was a connection there, and it was, front page headline news. Like, stop.
And then it'd be different if it wasn't just like, not even it wouldn't be different. Another thing that make it worse is that if it wasn't just like, okay, he was on there saying freaky shit, he on there saying freaky racist shit, like. He up there calling himself a black Nazi. Another comment that he made was he flat out said that he didn't see what was wrong with slavery and he wished it came back. He would have a slave or two.
He would have a slave or two.
You delusional motherfucker. You would be one. This is the crazy part of this is a part of a gubernatorial race. Yeah. I mean, now the man wasn't winning because a lot of the comments he was already making was on some wild stuff. But at the same time, like for you to be on the national stage,
Yeah.
right, a part of Donald Trump's cabal, one of the people that he handpicked, and this go to show you how stupid people who fuck with Trump is, because like this is the nigga that he put in front of y'all. This is the nigga that he putting his name behind. This freaky ass nigga.
Yeah.
And y'all, and this is who y'all siding with. Like, what's the best way to judge somebody's character? What's the type of niggas that's around them?
That.
Who do you keep around you? What does your circle look like? Because
Yeah.
if you in a circle full of fuck niggas, best believe to you, what are you?
A fuck nigga. If it walks like a fuck nigga, talks like a fuck nigga, quacks like a fuck nigga, gets on the internet and posts on the corn sites like a white nigga, you probably
Like a white nigga, yes.
yeah. And so it's peculiar. It's spooky hours. And the thing is, and this was so funny because there was a whole move on Twitter for all the politicians who were taking pictures with him, cozying up. All of them started deleting all they posts, all they connections. They're gone. So many people have been disused. Like, no, wait, where did this go? Like, so many politicians have been like, what happened to these? Did you lose these? Did you drop them? We found them for you. Like, here you go. Like,
It's
not
your
so
mans.
fast. We got them screenshots. Real quick. I read a post that said Donald Trump and JD Vance have already canceled any campaign meetings, whatever, appearances or whatever appointments for him. What else? It's a whole bunch of things that this man has lost in the matter of hours. And that's what makes it so hilarious for him to still be like, oh, we still doing our thing. I'm still these things are false. I'm still running my campaign. Like, bro, give it up.
Nah, he got probably till the weekend. He'll be done this weekend.
And I don't understand the significance of this, but I feel like it was an important point they were trying to make about it in the sense that he had until like tonight before he can get off the ballot. So now he has to stay on the ballot. So I think
because they about to send them out. They about to send the ballots out.
But why is that like interesting? Is it like his potential to be humiliated or something through like polling and the fact that he can't pull out of that, he gonna have to take them lumps out in the open? Or like, why does it matter that he still ends up on the ballot and people are saying that?
Because if people still vote for him, because if people still vote for him, because they like, fuck the Democrats, I'm still gonna vote for this dude. There's actually like there's somebody in the legislature that then decides where his votes go. So like that's really the only significance of that. Like is that if his name is still on the ballot and people choose to vote for him, they just gonna redirect his votes wherever the fuck they want to redirect them to. But I mean, when you was looking at the polls, like he was down by like 10 points, so it wasn't looking good for him anyway. So yeah. The last thing I want to ask about this type of shit before we get into the next freaky ass nigga is outside of the type of shit he was on, should bedroom information, like what happened with Fonnie Willis, I mean this shit is a little bit different, but what happened with Fonnie Willis, that type of shit, should that shit ever does that ever deserve to be made public or become a part of public conversation? Like, you get some salacious information from an ex about an individual's, bedroom behavior. Mm-hmm. Like outside of moments that where it could actually, is a crime, you know what I'm saying, like sexual assault or any type of underage, in you know what I'm saying, situations. Mm-hmm. But like you said, once meeting that standard of consent, should any conversations about the bedrooms of politicians, do they ever deserve to become public? Like the way that they do?
No. Like and I get why it would be a challenge to somebody's, I don't know, I don't want to go as far as saying that because I get why, infidelity can be a challenge to somebody's moral integrity or their character or their ability to carry out a task or can't be faithful to your wife. Like how the fuck you gonna be faithful to
America?
You know what I'm saying? Like there were whatever. And so like, I don't want to go as far as saying like, but also the other side of it is like the whole time Bill Clinton, I remember being young and being in elementary school while he was going through his impeachment shit. And I'm just like, bro, why is this our business? Like, why are we talking about this? Like, why does that? And so I get it. And as I got older and even as a child, like I understood why that was a dig on his character. Like people like questioning if he's a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like that was
Yeah.
probably the most detailed thought that I can surmise. Where that people were like, he's not a good person. You can't be a good person if you do bad stuff like that. But I also kept going back to, but he ain't still nothing. Ain't hurt nobody. Ain't killed nobody. I mean, like directly. Like of course he's a president, but like, what I thought, and this is where we also grew up in the era of Bill Clinton, the jazz man, the the long running, he was our first black president bullshit. Like all of these things that glorify him because he brought the economy back and America was good in the 90s and look what he did and this and that. And so I was just like, if he's all that, I mean, yeah, he cheated on her and that's sad, but that is a question for the marriage counselor and for the divorce attorneys. Why are we litigating that every day? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's my long way of saying, like, no. And that is because of what you said earlier, which is we want them out of our bedrooms and out of the shit that we do and the way that we build and create our relationships and how it's legislated. So in the same ways, I don't want to know what the fuck y'all got going on either. Everybody stay out of everybody's business. How about that?
Everybody stay out of everybody's business. I'm with that. I like that as well. Great answer. So yeah, y'all keep up with this story, man. Let's start a countdown to see how long before this man drops out. And good. He was on some. He was a dangerous individual. Like as much as they try to they recently complaining about Democrats for saying that Democrats are the reason why people trying to kill Donald Trump because of their rhetoric. This man straight up there got up on stage and to a bunch of people and just said some people need to die. Don't talk to me about rhetoric. And his rhetoric was some of the most dangerous. So good riddance. Sit your freaky ass down somewhere, Mark Robinson. Go on with your business. Go on with your life.
And the people agree in the comments. Miss Ma'am and Marcellin and Tyler all in here kind of agreeing. Absolutely. Emmanuel said, "Nigga, do you know we can see you?" And my Cat Williams voice, "You're stupid." Miss Ma'am said it could also help the Democratic candidate because the no vote count could go up due to all the people who chose not to vote for him at all. So this situation is just going to bolster the opposing candidate, which I forgot his name, but that's running against old boy.
Yeah, he don't even matter at the moment. Like that nigga.
You know what I'm saying? Dennis said, he said he don't even matter at the moment.
Yeah, but go ahead. You good.
His name, it'll be out there once when Mark Robinson had to take this L. We'll remember. We'll hear about it again.
For sure.
Dennis said, no, there should be a code of privacy. I really feel like this whole notion of a code of privacy, two things. One, it's hard to have in the era of social media because now you have a whole bunch of just everyday journalists who, once they get some information, it could be somebody on the Corn site that decided that they was going to pop that information off. They're not going through the red tape of a major publication or a major, you know what I'm saying, journalism, business company, corporation that has those standards or whatever. So we just can't get around that, in terms of what gets dropped in codes of privacy. But also, secondly, sex sells. Shit is juicy. I don't care how reputable you are as a news organization. You're going to try to find a way to talk about it politically correct like CNN did. But you're going to drop that news. You know what I'm saying? You're going to tell that story. You want people to run up those listens, those watches, those replays.
And that's why it matters.
Period. You know what I'm saying? And so ain't no code of privacy, bitch. Like, we talk about your shit. Like, what you did? Like, let's put it out there and try it through the court of public opinion, whether it has legal implications to it or not. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about this shit. So that's just not how it could crumble. And for some people, that really, really sucks. Shout out to Danielle. Shout out to Imhotep. Shout out to everybody in the building was papping.
So, on to the next freaky ass nigga. Diddy was recently denied bail. Just want to put that out there.
Twice.
Twice. Right. Twice. And we're gonna get into why that is. But before we do that, bear with me, Toya.
Humor me. Please.
I never liked Diddy. Not gonna lie to you.
Fascinating.
Never trusted him. I'm telling you, me, George Consciously, my man, what's she name on TikTok? Perfect Prophet. Y'all follow Perfect Prophet on TikTok and on Instagram. You should. Back when we was all debate partners and we were all roommates, we would just have cultural arguments and just have conversations. Y'all can only imagine the type of shit we argued about. And one of those arguments was whether or not Diddy should be considered one of the greatest CEOs in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because Diddy was Diddy. Like, it's all these names that was attached to him. Everybody loved him and all of this other shit. And I'm telling you, I was the one nigga that was like, yo, bro, Diddy's a terrible fucking person. He has to be. Look at it. I mean, this is before people started coming out. This is after Sean, because we was young when this shit happened with Sean, when Sean got locked up. Diddy shot a nigga with J-Lo, and Sean took the, you know what I'm saying? Sean took the charge. You feel me? Ate that. Sat down for what, like 15 years or some shit. Like
then he went back to, where's he from? He's from, I think, a Caribbean country, I want to say.
And he in politics now, too, which is crazy.
And yeah, it's like a congressman or something like that. Yeah. So, yeah.
So I was always like, and you got to think about it. By the time we was in by the time it was like 2012, 13, we know the story of Bad Boy. How no artist survived there. Nobody got anything. Nobody had anything good to say about Bad Boy. 112 ain't got shit good to say about Bad Boy.
We watched and were a part of, the attempts to make the super groups, to make what was it, Dream, and then Day 26 and Danny the Kane. Huge fans of both of those, and so watched their development on MTV. What was the name of that show?
Making the Band.
Oh yeah, Making the Band. BAND, the band. That was the name of one of the groups he put together. I forgot all about them. Who's the five hottest rappers alive?
Dylan.
Right?
But how fucked up in the head was he to make them niggas walk to go get that cheesecake? Like, it's funny, it's good reality TV, but I always was looking at it like, bro, it's something wrong with this nigga. You feel me? And like
Belize is where Stein is from. Shout out to him, Hotel. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
So these niggas would look at me and be like, bro, you tripping? You a hater, Damo? You just a hater. And it's like now, 10 years later, this nigga getting locked up for being a gross person, for being a freaky ass nigga and his freaky ass freak offs. But let's get into some of the details before we get into the conversation. All right, so the judge ruled Wednesday on charges including sex trafficking by force, transportation to engage in prostitution, and racketeering and conspiracy. Them is the charges he looking at. A part of the reason why they told Diddy that he was denied bond is because they accusing him of witness intimidation, right? Johnson said Combs called a victim in November 2023 after Ventura's civil lawsuit was filed seeking to maintain this victim's public support. According to prosecutors, the victim told Combs that when she read Ventura's lawsuit, I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. Combs allegedly tried to convince her she willingly participated in the acts, but the woman pushed back, saying that that's not how she saw things. Diddy told the woman, whom prosecutors said he supports financially, that she ain't got nothing to worry about if she keep up her support for him. Prosecutors said it made clear Combs would use financial coercion to keep victims close.
They also felt like him getting out, and this is I think you were saying the same things, because I read something that just explained it as tampering with evidence. Mm-hmm. But I think that is probably what they meant then, that he was going to try to get out and then go and influence people's perceptions. Because we have to realize too, in anticipation for this and over time, it's important to understand, in order to try to get bail, he paid off and sold his house that was like worth like $30 million or something crazy like that. He also sold his mother's house, which was worth like another $2 million or something like that. He was like selling all types of shit. He was in the midst of trying to sell his jet in LA. He surrendered his passports in like March or April when we first started hearing these things. So he was trying to, demonstrate gestures of goodwill to the court that he wasn't going to flee, because that was a huge thing, that he was going to be a flight risk and try to get up out the country. So he did a whole lot of work to try to set up this bail situation and, pay restitution and pay money on the front end to at least have his freedom as these proceedings played out. And as we pointed out, they were still like, no, ma'am, no ham, no, sir. Go take a seat in the dirty NYC jails, where you should have been a long time ago. Great.
Now, getting into a little bit more detail about what Diddy is accused of. This is his most recent courtroom sketch, because in New York, federal cases, they are not allowed to have cameras. So that's how we get the courtroom sketches. Combs is alleged to have run an enterprise that he engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, and other crimes, according to the indictment unsealed Tuesday. Federal prosecutors said Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, freaky ass nigga, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct from 2008 to the present.
Mercy.
The allegations mirror 11 civil complaints filed against him since 2023. So, from the way that the feds looking at it, all these tapes and the witnesses and everybody that they have speaking on it, because when the feds show up, they got you. They have concrete evidence, right? So, given all of the information that they have, they're saying that this ain't even just no new shit, bro. You've been on this since 08. You've been on this shit since 08.
Wild. So we were like 19 and 20 in 2008.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh no. 2008. Oh yeah, I was.
I was 18. I had graduated in 2007. I was 18.
Yeah.
So 2008, I would have been 19. You a year older than me, so that puts us at 19 and 20, which is interesting. Just because I only say that just because chronologically, I'm trying to like set up our relationship with Bad Boy, and all through our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a nigga who was at the backdrop of hip hop. For me, real quick, as you get into more of this, like as you talk about how, and even some comments was just like, I never liked that nigga. Like, I always hated him. Whatever. I don't know. I never was really big on East Coast hip hop, and Diddy was my inroads to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really bang with Jay-Z. I didn't really bang with Nas. I didn't really bang with like a lot of the locks and the this and the that. And so being from the Midwest, like my little piece of, New York, East Coast music was through Diddy and what he was making or whatever. But I think I probably liked the things he was producing, the people he was putting out there more than him. Now that I think about it, like, it was Diddy. Something interesting about, him that is interesting and that I heard about in the news story is like how much he ingratiated himself into the brands of other people and into the actual music. He was unique in that he wasn't just a visible producer. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't just like DJ Khaled. Like, he's going to yell something on the track or do it, but he's not going to like spit nothing. He's not going to be a part of the song. He's not going to do whatever. He kind of does some Diddy-esque things, but Diddy really had it on another level where he was like imprinted on the brand, the sound, the texture, the feel, some of the popularity of a lot of his artists. So it was like he was putting niggas on, but he was always connected, even more than the take that. He was dancing. He had a verse on the shit. Like, and it really happened with all of his artists in some way. So he was always in it, which made me then, I think, maybe like him in relationship to
a little bit more, yeah. But because just because he was attached to, just because who he was attached to.
Timeline, we was grown by the time the freakiest of the 69 guy shit. But I know it didn't start then. I know he was weird before that.
Of course,
I'm certain.
So that gets us to the more recent information that came out. Especially while we calling niggas freaky ass niggas. This nigga had 1,000 bottles of lube and baby oil on deck for the freak offs. And what exactly are the freak offs? Well, the Diddy freak offs is what they actually. So to us normal people, non-rich people that don't have no influence, we call them Diddy parties. We call them Diddy parties. That's what we were calling them. We knew that it had some type of inclination to some shit, but to us it was Diddy parties. That's what they called it, and that's what celebrities called it out loud. Internally, they called them freak offs, where Diddy would compile a bunch of sex workers and really heavy-handedly peer pressure for people into multiple sex acts involve would involve a lot of alcohol and a lot of drugs. Okay, they found a lot of dope. They found sex toys, all of the lube, all of the baby oil, wild shit. You can only imagine. The type of shit that was going on. But you have people like Cassie who had very negative memories and emotions associated with what's called these freak offs. So here we are. We kind of already know that like rich niggas like to do freaky type shit like that. But it's like now it's exposed more in the open, and it seems more malicious because it's like Diddy's violent nature. Like, when you have consenting adults choosing to do what they do. But at any time, at any point, anybody feels coerced or feels forced or feel manipulated into any of those situations. You've crossed the line there, buddy. You've crossed the line. And it seems as if Diddy has done that to multiple women, and the FBI seems to agree. Now, outside of the legal conversation, I want to talk about the impact.
Hold on. You talk about the impact, but we got to shout out these comments real quick. Emmanuel, Johnson & Johnson's baby oil is about to send Diddy a cease and desist. Like, you're not say our name, you're not mention us as the brand, because we know we leading in the field. Don't say our shit.
Right.
Danielle said, I still have the same bottle of baby oil from years ago. LOL. 1,000 bottles of nasty work. You got to be committed to some shit to get through bottles. I had to have them on deck. You automatically. I think
You
that's
have
what
to.
Carlos M said. You know what I'm saying? From Boys from 85 South, like you did what they said, nigga. Because like you nasty if you got that shit. And then Tyler asked a great question: why you need lube and baby oil? You
Lube
nasty
and baby.
and you're greedy. You're nasty and you're greedy and you're nasty.
Now we laughing and
Yeah,
joking about this shit, but it's a serious question at hand though. What does this mean for hip hop?
yeah,
Like Diddy is a big name, a major name. It's somebody that's important. You feel me? Like Bad Boy is a staple. You can't tell you cannot tell the history of hip hop and not talk
without.
about Bad Boy records.
Not
You know
because
what
the
I
first
mean?
thing you're gonna try to do is holler at Notorious B.I.G., Notorious B.I.G., and that's where your credibility starts, to fade if you
Exactly.
don't. Yeah, you can't take that
Exactly.
far.
So then what you know what I mean? So then my question, that's what my question is what it means. Now, one interesting thing that I've heard,
Mm.
but I don't really get too deep into conspiracy theories, so I kind of took it with a grain of salt, whatever. But one brother mentioned that he felt like it was the end of the gatekeepers of hip hop, and he
Mm.
felt like people like Diddy is a gatekeeper, somebody like Jay-Z, people like Pharrell. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these big name producers that control a lot. They getting caught up in this type of shit. Like Diddy is a big name. Like if we being honest, like for a nigga to be getting locked up, Diddy getting locked up is like as big as Bill Cosby. It's as big as R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Getting locked up. And it's crazy that it has the same implications. You know what I mean? So you got people that feel like that. I feel like personally, I think it's going. I think it's just it's going to change the landscape in a way to where like that gap got to get filled in. Like because with the absence of like Diddy's presence in the culture, like that gap going to be filled in with something. I can't say what
Well,
it is, but that gap is going to be filled in with something.
I don't. Well, I guess what you mean when you say it's gonna be filled in with something, just because Diddy is not the most relevant artist. You know what I'm saying? Like he has changed his name 15,000 times. Has attempted, you know what I'm saying? I think to really get off, or his last really big move was with Don and Kalina. What is the name of the group? Dirty Money, right? And so that was some of the business, and then they broke off.
Yeah,
They're working with
music wise though.
that. I mean, yeah.
I'm
And
talking
so
like
okay,
I'm talking culture wise. Like niggas drink Ciroc. You know what I'm saying? Like
but not
niggas.
as much. And I think a lot of people were talking about how some of those. I mean, I don't know. I don't get me talking liquor sales and this, that, and the other. But when you have, I think, a burgeoning market where he's trend set that. Like I have my own liquor. Like Ciroc was a thing when we were in college. Like nigga, Ciroc. You wasn't
Yeah.
getting Patron. It didn't exist. You wanted a Ciroc bottle, and then it was so many different kinds and colors. It was a status symbol when we were in college. But people followed his wave and started making their own liquors and got into the game and shit like that. So I don't know nobody hollering one vodka and two Ciroc all the time. It's not
No,
the
true.
liquor of the hour.
Well, you also not a college student anymore. You're a professor. So like, the world
But
that you exist in is a little different.
but it's still in proximity to the world these kids exist in. And they drinking Don Julio.
Look
They
at
drinking
that.
other shit. They're not
Yeah.
they're tequila. Tequila is I mean, this is literally like I'm listening to radio stories about alcohol consumership and how tequila has risen to be the top spirit that is sold in this country. And over the
Yeah,
last
Jose
few years,
Cuervo. Yeah.
it's been a change in terms of just
1800.
American culture, right?
Yeah.
In the same ways, it is crazy that the highest selling and most popular beer here is a Corona, right? In the United States, it's supplanted Bud Light and all this and all that. Like taste buds in America have changed. Tequila is just what rings bells. So I only say that I don't want to get too deep into, his liquor proficiencies,
Well,
but
the question is,
he just ain't that. He's not that guy. So when you talk about the whole that he's creating, like yes, legacy is fucked up and tore down, but Bill Cosby's legacy is shit. But it's still comedians thriving and doing all types of cool things. It's all types of people who played a major role but had relevance at a different time or bigger relevance, and so their absence is a shame. It's sad.
so any impact? So
Good to
any
see you go.
impact? Any impact on the culture
Any
as a whole? You don't think you're gonna
impact
have
on the
any
culture.
impact? Yeah.
I will say no for the same reason that you said. Even outside of all the shit that has happened recently, the
Yeah.
narrative behind Diddy, all of our adult lives is he don't do right by his artists. He deserves hell. He deserves shit. He deserves dust because as much as he did all this and did all that, a lot of his artists are either dead Craig Mack, motherfucking Biggie. Other examples of that, his connections to Aaliyah, like a lot of different conversations and questions about a whole lot of things in terms of people popping up dead, waking up dead, and then
Waking
um
up dead.
that or their careers are fizzling out, or they have issues or you know problems with him
Kim
having
Porter.
money. That's Kim Porter's. Come on, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm missing some names and some people that if I was the hip hop historian,
Kid Cudi's car.
that's what that arson charge is from, right? He's not
Yeah.
just out here mistakenly setting fires. He literally tried to kill Kid Cudi. Like, this shit is crazy. And so people have already been like, Diddy's not a good guy. He's not a good person. He don't do right by people. He deserves nothing. This just was like, damn. The whispers was like, I thought we was talking loud about this part, but they was whispering about that part. Come to find out, we was right about it all.
So
everybody.
So okay, so let me ask you this then. Does Diddy then, because you know the egregious nature of his crimes, does Diddy then get the R. Kelly treatment? Because I'll say this: R. Kelly deserved to be where he at, but damn, R&B hurt because of it. Like R&B and R. Kelly wasn't the most relevant nigga when he got locked up, but you know what I'm saying?
But
like
Kelly, I think R. Kelly and Diddy.
He deserves. Let me say this clear. He deserves to be where he's at. He deserves to be where he's at, just so people don't get this confused.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now my fault. Go ahead and say what you were saying.
But I just feel like there's more of king of R&B for those who believe it, clear cut, non-negotiable. Anybody will tell you, they'll tell you with a frown on their face and with they shit balled up that the king of R&B is R. Kelly, right? People will tell you that. Even the people that hate what he did and lament what he did, I don't listen to it no more, this and that, but being honest about the influence, the sales, the this, the whatever, and he apparently paid his people. He did right by folks. He did this, that, and the other. So he gets to keep that legacy intact, whereas I think in the context of hip-hop, right, there are so many people in contention for that. Like, you looking directly at a Jay-Z, for example, and people be like, he was way more successful, way more did this, that, and the other. We got Cole, we got this person, we got this artist, we got this group, we got this era, Rockefeller, the line, this.
Yeah, even though Jay-Z got his disgruntles, he got his disgruntles.
He does, right? But I think when we're talking about king of hip-hop and roles and prestige, there are other people who are ahead of him who have more notoriety, more competition for that title than he does. I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, best rapper alive, nobody is like Diddy. You know what I'm saying? But best rapper alive, people are like Jay-Z. And then best producer, whoever did it, Jay-Z. Like, people are able to say other names and have other things, whereas R. Kelly is undisputed. For some people.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I can't quantify what I think that it, like the him being locked up, I can't quantify. I know how I feel about R. Kelly being locked up. I can see it. You know what I'm saying, on the impact of R&B music, but I can't quantify it for Diddy. But for him to be who he is, and to kind of pull the strings that he pulled, I think that it's something. You know what I mean? Something. But whatever. Moving on.
Real quick. I think I want to say. I just want to say this real quick. In terms of like, because you asked the question, like, is he gonna get the R. Kelly treatment? Like, are you still gonna listen to him or not, or do whatever or not? And it's not a decision that I've made as swiftly and as deeply as I did about R. Kelly or whatever.
R. Kelly was easier. It was easier.
Of children, the fact that he called himself a Pied Piper, the fact, like, it was just like a whole lot of just very nasty, dirty shit. The fact that he was pulling up outside of high schools, hanging out, waiting for the kids to get out, like, it was just like, that shit's crazy. I'm not gonna say, in the spirit of, no sin is greater than the other. I ain't about to be like, okay. But I also don't necessarily believe in that trope either. I do think, like, if there's lines.
It's worse sins. Yes.
I kind of believe that. That being said, I think all of this illuminates why celebrity worship and celebrity culture is so fucking stupid, because we don't get to enjoy anything anymore. All these people are terrible people. And we are constantly exposed to this information, and everybody's bad, and everybody's fucked up, and everybody has done some questionable things that I probably don't agree with in their personal life. So we've been reduced as fans in the culture of really treating these people like human beings, which is just like everybody else. Some of them we like, some we don't. Some of them do fucked up shady shit and we accept it. Some people is just like, I just don't fool with you. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But there's no more glorification of the celebrity. It is just a whole bunch of regular ass people who do terrible things that are really good at an assortment of things. We know about them. We know their names. We see them a little bit more than other people. And we have to make the hard decision about what we're willing to accept and what we're not willing to deal with. And we just kind of govern ourselves. But it's very hard to just draw a hard line in terms of, you do something fucked up and I'm not fucking with you no more. Because then what do we watch? What do we listen to? Who do we, you know what I'm saying? what does it mean to be a
No,
part of popular culture? If you
and
would
that's
speak.
what and that's what kind of gets me to my next question, and that is, what do we expect to hear from the other icons in hip hop? Like, something Diddy getting locked up, you don't just sit on that. You feel me? I feel like, I guess niggas did that with R. Kelly. Like, it's a lot of niggas that didn't come out and explicitly say anything, even though it was a few who did. But then now when you have somebody like Diddy, who, all y'all niggas was having secret brunches and secret dinners and meeting up and doing y'all hip hop boule shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, taking everybody's dressed in black. You know what I mean? Like, it's just y'all was doing all that shit together. You feel me? And so, like, you were, because of y'all proximity and y'all type of camaraderie that y'all displayed. Yeah, I mean, what is the responsibility of the niggas that was sitting with him? What is the responsibility of Jay-Z? Somebody like or any of these other CEOs that hobnob with somebody like Diddy that's probably been to a Diddy party, or excuse me, a freaky ass nigga. What do you expect to hear from them, if you expect to hear anything at all?
Complete silence.
Right.
Diddy is going to fade off into the abyss. People are going to be praying and hoping over these next few months that he's the person that they know him to be, who has been quiet this long. So can he stay quiet longer? They are sitting sweating bullets because some people left the freak offs and some people stayed and stuck around. Even if they left a little later, they probably left a couple seconds too late and are now implicated and culpable for what has happened. And so there are a lot of people hoping and praying to God that he keep his mouth shut, that he take his shit on the chin, that he lock it in and just kind of move on and don't say their names. And I think if that happens, then out of respect for surviving and living another day, ain't nobody finna be like, all right, y'all, now that Diddy's locked up, let's have a conversation about the misogyny, the way that we treat women, the disrespect that we have, the drug culture in the game, the this and that.
Right.
Nobody doing that shit. Who does it? Right. And this is where I guess it was very ironic that the Diddy shit kind of came to a head with this whole Kendrick track, talking about what's the name of it, when the party ends or when the party is over or something like that.
Oh, the new, you talking about the new joint?
Yeah, the newest joint is called, because I retweeted it when it dropped. And I haven't, it's crazy. I've been so busy. I haven't even had a chance to listen to it again. Matter of fact, it's untitled, which is the craziest part about it. But what do you say? It's time to watch the party die. It's time to watch the party die. And
That
so
is
we see
very coincidental.
it's very timely. You know what I'm saying? That all of this stuff is coming to a head. And a lot of people was like, oh, it's another Drake this. No, it's another Drake this. And other people was like, nah, you just like thinking too simple. This is Kendrick in his own little interesting way, maybe exposing the culture and talking about the greater context of how a lot of the shit that was, flying ain't gonna fly no more.
And
So
Kendrick didn't fuck with Diddy. The whole reason that J. Cole fought Diddy was because Diddy was trying to throw a drink on Kendrick, because Kendrick called himself the King of New York. And so J. Cole grabbed Diddy's hand when he was trying to throw the drink. And that's how them niggas got into it, started fighting.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the party's over, nigga.
But that, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are, I say that to say, unless you have a Kendrick that's really going to be like, I'm on this hellified mission to expose all of the really fucked up shit in this industry, and you're not going to catch me slipping about my own shit. But doesn't that put a target on his back? Doesn't that alienate him and keep him out of circles and relationships and networks that he probably needs? Shit like that gets him to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't. Yeah. To me, I mean, I ain't gonna say like your hard work and integrity don't get you in those rooms and don't get you those opportunities, but I will say,
you gotta play the
larger context, you don't ascend without being in some questionable
fitting in, nigga. Yeah.
So who?
You done been to some freaky ass nigga parties, Kendrick. Niggas.
And that's part of kind of the conversation that I wanted to have, but it kind of fell out of the news cycle, so I don't know if we should go there. But a lot of people is questioning, like, okay, Kendrick, which way is it? You radical, anti-America, fuck the machine, fuck this, that, and the other, but you doing ass with the American flag behind you, my boy? Like, what is we doing? What conversations is you having? You out supporting America's game. Like, you literally are paying into and buying into some of the same systems and structures that in another breath you would be criticizing and saying we're terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, you to this day have a Grammy performance that was so prolifically apt and aesthetically just captivating and exposing the way that black people have been treated in terms of prison, industrial complex, and this, that, and the other, and chain gang and all this and all that, that to this day you can't find that footage on YouTube. They have scraped it from the internet damn near. And you went from that like people are confused. So it's also just like, Kendrick, who are you and who's pushing you and motivating you and what helps you sleep at night? What type of baggage you get in, or is what's your decision making? So I only say that to
Yeah.
say he may or may not, and I don't know, I don't take a stance on it, but might not have the best moral compass to make certain decisions either, or to be
Yeah, I
the
mean,
leader. So I don't know.
but I think, like you said, this is just about all you niggas is just celebrities anyway, nigga. Like I don't need to get my moral compass from a nigga that I only fuck with you because you make words rhyme.
That's it.
That's it.
Like,
That's why I like that's really why I listen to
exactly.
you. So I even when you make music that resonates, you know what I'm saying, emotionally and spiritually and
Yeah.
intellectually, nigga, still like you just another nigga at the end of the day. You feel me? And you another nigga with money. Which means that shit, it's certain things that you involving yourself with and you operating with. I mean, just kind of like the whole NFL and the Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Yeah, nigga, hey, I'll be radical than the motherfucker. Cut that check and put that flag up there, nigga, and let's get this photo shoot cracking.
Golly.
Yeah, I mean that's the reality of it. So
It
so
really
I
is.
think we don't need to we shouldn't put so much in the celebrities in the first place. And I agree with you. I don't think them niggas is gonna speak on it in any productive or beneficial way because it's a part of the game. That's why I'm really worried about Diddy motherfucking ass because he could end up like motherfucking Jeffrey Epstein having all these secrets and all these other motherfuckers implicated. That's like yeah, this
Listen,
nigga this nigga could be a threat. We may need to do something with his ass. You know
Miss
what I
Ma'am
mean?
just posted and said, since the investigation is still ongoing, I feel like some of our OG faves finna get rounded up too. So there's a level of potential, because when the feds know some shit, they know some shit. You know what I'm saying? And when you didn't act alone, you didn't act alone. And so it is a possibility that we hear some different names. Also, some other crazy comments. Emmanuel said, no, Tyler said you can't tell the story of Caesar without the fall. So, you can't really, talk about hip hop without talking about the
That
people
was
who essentially
clever. That
breaking
was
from it.
clever, Tyler. I
I see it and
appreciate that little
respect.
turn of
I respect the
phrase.
connection.
Yeah.
Um, let me see. Miss No, let me see. Imhotep said 1,000 bottles of is a felonious amount of lube, so just that alone should get him major charges. Apparently, a lot of hating on. I don't bang with Cuervo, but other tequilas is fire. So I don't know. Emmanuel here hating a little bit. Miss Ma'am, I did listen to the whole song. The whole jam is a banger, and that's why I couldn't really understand why people was trying to misinterpret it as a Drake beef. And I think that's what everybody's gonna do as long as either of them put out music is try to comb through it and see if there's some jabs in there and shit like that. But I really do feel like it was a criticism of
The
the whole
masses
vibe.
have moved on. Is the
Yeah.
masses have moved on.
Uh, yeah. I think for the most part, yeah, it's dead.
Yeah, it's
It's
certain
dead.
niggas that still trying to. Oh, he did it again. No,
Yeah.
that's past, sir. That's
Let that die.
past. Yeah.
And then also, I don't think K Dot is pressed about being in those specific rooms anymore. Well, we can't read his mind. We don't really know. He could be the best strategist in the game that is convincing us he ain't worried about it the whole time behind the curtain. He, moving and sticking and, ahead of marketing strategies, like, I don't know, 2.0 on steroids. And he's just
You
kind of killing
never
the
know.
game.
You
And we
never
don't know what
know.
he's up to. So I won't
Cause
pretend to read his mind. I'm just going to sit back and watch the shit he doing like everybody is. You feel?
because I say this and then we can start to wrap it up. I do think though to get to a certain level, it's certain things that you have to do that's gonna go against all that radical shit. Because if you honestly
Yeah.
stand for the super radical shit, then it's certain things that you automatically gonna position yourself against. Right? Any super radical nigga that's really in the industry is gonna be an enemy of Jay-Z. It's gonna be an enemy of the NFL. You know what I mean? It's gonna be an enemy of record labels and everybody else because it's like that the radical nature would then upset, you know what I mean, a lot of the normative behavior that we call out that's being called out with Diddy and like just not being okay with this shit.
It's the same reason why we've always talked about, how we couldn't see ourselves in politics, right? It's to get up deep into the upper echelons of really pushing the pen and making decisions and being influential or at least having the visibility. You got to do some weird shit. Something strange for a little piece of change. That shit was
Something
not
strange
just
for a little piece of
a
change.
cute little one liner. It is a real thing that I think explains and describes kind of what you have to do to ascend. So a lot of people will say, I never compromised, I never folded, I never did whatever, but it's a whole lot of ways that can look like. Nobody said you had to bend
Mm.
over and do nothing in order to,
Yeah,
go back
you
on
ain't
your
really got
morals
to
and
be busting it down to
or compromise
really.
your values. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's a whole lot of other weird shit that you can do that really is disaligned with who you are, who you purport yourself to be, and
yes.
what you say you believe in. And in some ways it happens. And other, yeah. And so I don't know. Like in entertainment, in politics, in order to have, especially in capitalist 21st century America, for you to get moving and shaking like that, baby, you got to have some private conversations that you probably won't want nobody to hear, or
see some shit that you don't want niggas
to
that know that you saw it and you sat there and you
somebody.
ain't do nothing to say nothing. But
And that's what I mean.
right.
Even Don Richard, right? Don came out, who was in Danny the Kane and who ended up being a part of Dirty Money, came out and was like, has her own. She has her own lawsuit, by the way, at this point, and it's come out and been like, I had to be a part of some shit I didn't want to be a part of. I had to stay at parties I didn't want to be in, and I couldn't leave and get out, and had to find crazy ass ways to get out of there, understanding that this didn't align who I was with, or who I was rather. But I did stick around a couple minutes too long because I felt forced, like I had to, for my livelihood, and I saw some shit I didn't want to see. You know what I'm saying? So, including, I think, her commenting on seeing Cassie be abused and all different type of things. So, the decisions we have to make in order to get the bag.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, man, we gonna keep, I don't know, being updated by these freaky ass niggas. We gonna see how this shit turn out. It ain't looking good for neither one of them.
Run for your life.
But I mean, but hopefully we get positive impacts out of both of these niggas being exposed for the freaky ass shit they be on. But with that being said, man, we appreciate y'all for joining us on another edition of the Chop Up Late Night, especially for those on the East Coast. Y'all know we on the West, so we get to stay up a little bit later than y'all. But y'all stay tuned. We'll be back next week. We got a lot going on. You know what I mean? Toya got debate season. I'm in grad school right now. So life is lifing.
My Lord.
But we always gonna be back to bring y'all the show, to give y'all this conversation, to give y'all that game. So we out. We'll see y'all next week.
Wait. Real quick. One more thing before you press that button. We just did the numbers and we got listeners. Let's put it like this. 14% of our listeners are not in the United States. That's growth. I feel like a couple months ago, we was like at 11, 12%. We almost at 15%. So shout out to y'all from, I think, 31 other countries that are listening to the Chop Up Show, everywhere from the UK to New Zealand to Liberia to freaking, it's all over Europe, South America, Australia, Asia. Y'all wilding out there. Keep running it up. Keep sharing the show with y'all people. Of course, the people in the United States, you know what I'm saying? From sea to shining sea.
Looking at
we love y'all. And to all the people who come back to the YouTube and listen to it and watch it after the fact, the people early in the morning, the people late night, somebody looking for something interesting, the new family and friends we get joining us in Chop Nation. I had to say, you know me, I'm a feeler. So I couldn't get out of here without letting people know that I got love for y'all.
We gotta show Chop Nation love. We gotta show Chop Nation that appreciation.
Forever grateful. Thank y'all.
We out. It's the Chop Up.